building the right relationship with Palo Alto Networks was also important. So mapping all this interest map was crucial, and I think, as Nati said, relatively in the beginning, we understand that what we want to maximize is the deal, and not to maximize a specific deal term. It's not the price or the fact that we're going to open a development center in Israel, which was very important for us. We're making sure that the employees are happy, but it was maximizing the deal. And after doing that, I think things sort of moved on the right track, and was just very open discussions, didn't hide the different interests, and I think eventually we had both the employees, the angel investors, the VCs, consultants, Palo Alto Networks, and us very, very happy.
So yeah, I think that I felt it as well. So once the decision was made to do the transactions, basically everyone got behind it and supported it in any way they can. Would you say that's the right statement?
In most cases. It wasn't as easy, but basically it was clear that once we made a decision that this is going to be the path, that we had the momentum going there. We had you talked about the angel investors. We had great angel investors that really helped us, and we used their experience and guidance in helping, because they've done that as founders many times. So this really, really helped.
And by the way, the part of the angels eliminated their own commercial interest, practically because they don't need the money, they have enough of it, and they helped us to take the right decision as part of the process. And that, I think that was, I don't know if crucial, but very important for the process.
Absolutely. I think that we're seeing a lot of differences between, I would say, angels and investors who are not stressed for getting a return right now or getting the cash right now, and between those who are. You're seeing, I think that that's the main difference. So it's not really a VC versus an angel, but it's really where you are at that certain point in time, and I think that's key here. So Uri, you were talking about what you wanted to achieve. So during your negotiations with Palo Alto, obviously, other than the price, which you are not willing to talk about, or you're willing to talk about, other than the price, what did you emphasize in the negotiations? Where were you headed to?
So I think one of the things that made this a great deal, I think, is that it wasn't the things that are important for us versus the things that are important to Palo Alto Networks, and we negotiate, we gave some and they gave some. Basically, what was important for us was to make sure that we're not selling the company in order to do an exit and leave the company, and leave the working on the dream come true, but rather getting into a process that would help us to fulfill our product, the Traps product, the endpoint solution potential. So this was one thing. The second thing was making sure that we have a development center in Israel, which was crucial for us. We have amazing guys, which we wanted to make sure that not only that they are enjoying the deal, but that we're all continuing working together. So that was another thing that was important for us. And I think that the third thing was to make sure that we had all of our partners, by that I mean the investors, happy about the deal, because it helped us from day one. So all of these are things that were not only important for us, but also important for Palo Alto Networks. It wasn't like we said we want a development center in Israel, and they said, well, we prefer you to move to Santa Clara. It was the other way around. They said, great, that's what we're looking for. So in that sense, I think both from the technical side and from the deal structure side, or not the deal structure, but what happens the day after the deal, the conversation was about what would make sense for us to do a day after, and not us versus you. Agree?
And I think one of the things that were very compelling for us is that Palo Alto Networks defined itself as a company which is a product-driven company. By the way, most of the Palo Alto Network board members are the ones who actually invented the idea of product management. And that means that all the decisions across the company are based on what is the innovation we want to deal with. And it was very clear for us that this is the culture of the company, and the fit with our approach of we have much more to do with the product, and we have much more to learn from the market and improve it. It was a great fit. I mean, in terms of how much effort we need to put on the product, even though we get to a very good stage. And all the discussion was around it. How many guys do we need? How additional budget in the upcoming 5 years we want to bring in? The fact that you want to have the mandate on taking decision on the endpoint solution. I mean, Palo Alto Networks have a great knowledge on network security. We have a great knowledge on endpoint security, so we need to take the decision related to endpoint security. And it was exactly what they aimed, and so there was no even need for arguments or negotiation around it. And I think that the result was amazing in terms of the budget that we are going to have in the upcoming years, which is far more than any C round that we could even dream of. And the fact that they have one of the best sales organization in the US. And by the way, the quarterly results from the last quarter show that. I mean, they have the best. I mean, all the analysts around in Wall Street around the market benchmark them as the best sales organization around. And they have great marketing, and they have, again, great everything which is concentrated around the product itself. So it matched our expectation, again, regardless the commercial side of the deal for us as founders, and it made the decision very easy.
Just to add on that, we are going to, it was publicly said, so it's not a secret, but we're going to invest more than $25 million this year on the endpoints. And that's putting aside things that is hard to quantify, which is we have 8 guys flying to the headquarters and talking to some of the best engineers and researchers, getting their feedback. So people are flying here and there all the time. It's things that are hard to quantify, but putting that aside, again, it's $25 million a year spent on the endpoint. So that's something that is almost hard, impossible to do as a spend as a 4-year-old company in Israel or in the States. And recruitment, we are going to grow the Israeli branch. We were 40-something employees in Israel, 8 employees in the States on the acquisition. First of all, we have 100% of the employees that were with us on April 9th, the day of the M&A, are still working in Cyvera, in Palo Alto Networks. Ex-Cyvera are in Palo Alto Networks. So that's a great thing by itself, and we are going to grow the branch in Israel to more than 200 employees in the next 2 years. So we're recruiting very hard if somebody knows a really talented engineer. But that's exactly one of the things that we find very, very exciting about the deal.
It sounds like you really found a good match in Palo Alto. But a question that begs to be asked is, today you're seeing all the IPOs around you. Companies are going public, getting values that are sheer amazing. Doesn't it feel sometimes like you've missed something, like you could have built a Palo Alto of your own?
Time will say. I mean, we're not at the point of judging that yet. On the technology side, we have a great confidence that this is a technology that we could have bring to IPO within maybe 2 years. But even now, after 5 months only since the acquisition, the exponential growth of the Israeli branch and the endpoint approach is, as I said, is not even close to what we could have expected if we would have chose the self growth path. Now, for example, we planned originally to have in 2014, up to 200 customers, which is a very ambitious number. Okay. In the upcoming launch of our product, which is September 30, the Palo Alto Networks Traps product, which is our product, we are going to approach 18,000 customers with this product, which means that we had to build within 5 months an unbelievable infrastructure to support it. We made the product much more scalable. We built the entire training operation around it. We built the entire sales operations around it, and with a great backup, unbelievable backup from the headquarters. This is something that would have taken probably more than 3 years to achieve by ourselves. In terms of money, I don't know, maybe IPO could have done better, and we could have achieved other things, but again, right now, the measurement of what we achieved so far with Palo Alto Network within only 5 months shows that we are on the right track.
I can tell you from a broad economic perspective that you are the first Palo Alto Israel center, and I'm sure this is going to grow, and this is so important for the Israeli economy that it's just as equal as an IPO and getting a large company, probably even more. So chapeau on that. Nati, a painful subject, relocation. You had quite an experience with relocation. I remember calls where you said, I have a huge dog. How can I transfer the dog from one country to another? Tell us a little bit, fun aside, tell us a little bit about relocation process and what you went through.
So it's still seriously the most painful point, the dog. Moving 95 pounds dog to California is not an easy task. Just a short anecdote, the way we've done it is that we originally moved to San Francisco, and 3 days later, Uri, who is a great friend and not only a great partner, took on himself the responsibility of bringing our dog from Israel to LA. And it's seriously, it's a huge dog, and the cage is like this. It's a really huge cage. By the way, take Elal if you have a big dog. It's the best thing.
That's also a Zionistic say, so that's...
Exactly. So that was a great challenge by itself, but moving twice a year is a very, very big deal. I mean, first of all, on the personal basis, you know, convincing your spouse to actually sacrifice her own career and stop everything, including higher education studies, to move to California and starting a new life. And then 5 months later, by the way, 3 days after receiving the working approval from the authorities, tell her we need to come back because of the acquisition. That was a big deal. But luckily for me, I have a very good partner, wife that helped me with that.
You married well.
Yeah, I married well with a big dog. But
that's the key, by the way. Everything else is...
that's correct. Without it, there is no way that we would have done it. But more on the operational side, I think that without moving to California, to the US, to where all the scene of security is conducted, without doing that, the process would have taken much more than half a year or a year. I mean, I think that within a month from the moment that we moved to California, I already met with all the security giants, already received the initial indications from them that they want to work with us. I've met with tons of investors that we didn't even want to raise money. They looked for security companies, Israeli security companies in California, and wanted to convince us to take more money, even though we didn't want it. So the course of things, again, it was comparing to what's going on here, and I think that's very clear to most of the entrepreneurs that moved to California. That was a very wise decision. By the way, regardless of the acquisition, the involvement of the company in the US was so fast. I mean, the fact that the entire security industry knew who Cyvera is, though we were only 1-year-old company with 8 employees at that point of time, no, a bit more than that, sorry. That was a great thing for us because we didn't need to educate again and again whomever we met with, including, by the way, analysts from Gartner or Forrester, whomever we met already heard about us because of the fact that we moved to California. So I think that it was worthwhile, even with all the difficulties on the background. And there is still an open question: what is the right thing for the company in terms of whether Uri or myself needs to go back there and leading the endpoint initiative in the headquarters. And we don't know what is the right answer yet. We do know that we had to move back. And one of the considerations, of course, was the fact that transition is very complicated, both on the operational side and the technology side. Again, we built integration with Palo Alto Network product in less than 4 months. And it required both of us to be in the branch here in Israel. But maybe in a year time from now, we will decide to go back.
So I'll turn this to each one of you. 3 most important things to build a great company.
You didn't prepare for this.
I think if I have to say 3 things, the first is build a great team. I'm stealing all the important stuff, but we do have a great team, people that for sure we want to continue working with for the next years. So that I think is really important. The second point is to decide what's important for you, because there are endless amount of opportunities and you can put your weight on different things. So deciding what's really important to you. And the third thing would be to do what you believe, because there's a lot of right things to do. I'll talk about the co-CEO. We were told it wouldn't work, he wouldn't be able to raise money. We knew that this is the right thing for us. So we decided to do that and did it, and it was great. So going back to the last 2, understanding what you think is important and focusing on that and doing that without paying, it's not to pay attention to what people say, but to hear the feedback and then decide what you think is important and follow that. I think that's what helped us get here.
Nati, I'll give you another one. Cyberspace, cybersecurity space, worldwide in Israel is just going rockets. What do you think? There's so many companies here in Israel.
So the obvious answer would be, wow, what a bubble, okay? But I think even though there are, I heard the number of 180 companies who already approached investors in the early stage, even though there are too many of them, there is still a lot of place for innovation. There are still vectors of attacks that are not covered well, and that the market is eager to get solution for. But I think, I don't know if you say unfortunately or fortunately, but the more companies that are out there dealing with specific vectors or specific features, the higher the chance that the giants will buy them rather than they build a robust big company with their own operation, which is not a bad thing, but I think that the dream of building a security giant, a sustainable one for many years, become less and less applicable. I mean, the more there are companies out there initiating cyber solutions.
Okay, now I'll ask you to change hats and go back to being officers in Palo Alto.
We always wear those hats.
Since the beginning. So what are the plans? What are Palo Alto plans?
As a matter of policy, we can't talk about it. I'm just kidding. The plans are to invest a lot of effort on the product side, a lot of effort on the recruitment side. I think one of the most important thing is that we will unify our product with the Palo Alto Network products. We've already done that, and again, on September 30, this will be valuable for the customers, the initial integration with the Palo Alto Network products. But we have a lot of challenge there, I think. But among all the challenges, and correct me if I'm wrong, Rory, keep getting the best guys in Israel is the biggest challenge. And I think that we are on the right track with that. And we put a great emphasis on that as Palo Alto Network officers, but as founders as well, who believes in the product and want to take it more seriously to the market.
Totally, nothing to add on that.
That's terrific. So, last question, and probably the most important one. How much money did you make? I'm joking.
You should know. We don't know actually.
I know. I'm joking. Guys, it has been a privilege working with you on this deal and before that deal and after that deal. This transaction could not have happened to a better company and to a better team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rubi.
Thank you very much.